you hear tapping on your window at 3 a.m., don't look. Jack had always been a rational guy. He didn't believe in ghosts, monsters, or urban legends. That's why, when the tapping first started, he barely reacted. It was probably a tree branch hitting the window or the wind playing tricks. But then he remembered there were no trees near his window. He sat up in bed, the soft tap, 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 repeating at an unnatural rhythm. He glanced at his phone. 3:07 a.m. The screen's glow barely illuminated his dark room. His blinds were drawn shut. Maybe it was a bird? But why would a bird be out this late? And why did it sound so deliberate? Jack hesitated, then shook his head. Ignore it. Go back to sleep. The tapping continued. Louder, more insistent. Tap, tap, tap. His heart pounded. He took a slow breath and forced himself to roll over, turning his back to the window. If he ignored it, whoever or whatever was outside would get bored and leave. That's when his phone buzzed. A text. No name, just 3 words. Let me in. His blood ran cold. His hands trembled as he unlocked his phone. The message had no contact information, no number, no username. It shouldn't have even been possible. The tapping stopped. Silence. Jack listened. The air felt heavier, colder. The room seemed darker than before. He could hear his own heartbeat. Then his phone buzzed again. Another message. I know you're awake. Jack swallowed hard. He wanted to be logical, to come up with some explanation. But his gut told him something was very, very wrong. Slowly, he sat up. His eyes flicked toward the window. His blinds were still down. The room was empty. Then, from right beside him, a whisper. You looked, didn't you? Jack's body locked up. His brain screamed at him to move, but he couldn't. It was like something was pressing down on him. The air was thick, suffocating. The blinds began to ripple, as if something was standing just outside, breathing against them. His phone buzzed again. I'm coming in. Jack lunged out of bed, scrambling for the door. His hands fumbled at the doorknob, locked. He didn't remember locking it. His breathing was ragged. Behind him, the blinds slowly started to rise. He forced himself to turn just an inch, just enough to see the edge of the window in his peripheral vision. And that's when he saw it. Long, thin fingers curling over the windowsill. The nails were too sharp. The skin too pale. Jack's breath hitched. Then, the fingers dragged the blinds up, revealing 2 wide, hollow black eyes staring right at him. Jack screamed. The room plunged into darkness. The last thing he felt was ice-cold fingers wrapping around his ankle. And then, nothing. The next morning, Jack's room was empty. His bed was untouched. His phone lay on the floor. Its screen cracked. The window was wide open. Jack was never seen again.